Okay, hello, welcome to my Arduino project, which is to make a clock out of a real-time clock. This is an OLED screen. We're using a 0.99 inch SSD1306 as the screen, and we're using a Pro Mini, an Arduino Pro Mini, which is a 3-volt one, to give us 3-volt out from a 5-volt supply. We're using the DS3231, which is standing on its end at the moment on the breadboard. It's very difficult to see. Right. It uses the 5-volt rail from the power supply to connect to the raw of the Arduino. This is the diagram that we're going to wire up, the wiring diagram. This is the DS3231 real-time clock. This is the Arduino Pro Mini 3-volt, as I said. It has the OLED screen, which has got 4 pins on it, very easy to wire up. Right, we wired up the positive from the Pro Mini, which is 3.3 volts output. We just line that up and connect it to the OLED screen, which is going to be running off the 3-volt supply. We connect the VDD, the positive, and we'll connect the RTC to the VCC as well. There you go. That's the positives connected. Now we'll use the ground from the Arduino. Just turn it black. Get that lined up. The ground connects to the same, both to the OLED screen and the RTC. There's very few wires in this circuit. That's the ground on the OLED screen. We connect the ground to the RTC. I think we just line that up. It's a bit wonky. Okay. Now we need the serial clock and the serial data. This is the serial clock, which is it's the 2 pins on top of the Pro Mini. The furthest one away is the serial clock. The furthest one away from the reset pin. Connect the serial clock. It's very difficult to see, but it is running off the 2 pins off the top of the Pro Mini. They're not standard side pins. The serial clock on the OLED screen. And the serial clock pin of the RTC DS3231. to 0 o'clock. Now the second pin is the serial data, which is the closest pin to the reset on the board. And serial data is both connected to the OLED screen and the RTC, the real-time clock, and it's accessed through the management of addresses. So you can have, I think there's 255 different devices all connected to the 2 lines and addressed. You'll find the address of the OLED screen on the back of the OLED screen, but you'll need that for the hard coding of in the Arduino code, right? The voltage I put in as 5 volts. It'll go up to 12 volts, the raw voltage in, but I'm using 5 volts, which is handy for me. But it will go up to 12 volts and still only give 3 volts out on the output pin. Like that. Right, you'll also need a ground. I just shown you the positive. This is the breadboard layout. So the breadboard won't give 12 volts out, it'll only go 3 or 5. So I'm using the 5. This is the Arduino code. They use the DS3231 library and the SSD1306 Oled library. That's the DS3231 to find, and the screen, to find the screen of the size of the OLED. It's usually, if you're not having a reset, you set it to -1. That's better. It's supposed to use a wire library, but I found it doesn't need the wire library, even though it uses it. I found I haven't needed to include the wire library. This is a string giving you the date, the day of the week, the date, the time, and the last time for comparison. I've used an integer of SBC to line up the day of the week in the center of the screen. This is initializing the display, the OLED display, and this is initializing the RTC. We cleared the display and set the font to 2, which is a bigger font than normal. We get the time and we compare it to the last time, and if it's different, we do the whole procedure again. We do the whole printing of everything. We get the date of the week string from the RTC, the day of the week. We get the date string, and we find out how big, where to position the day of the week in the middle by counting the spaces either side of the length of the string in that line there. We set the display to white. We set the display to white and print it all at various positions on the screen. The time, Tim. The spaces, which is the distance from the side of the screen. And then we set the cursor there, and then we print the day of the week, and we move the cursor again, and we write the date on the screen and display it all from the buffer. Then we write it all again in black. This is just writing the buffer in black, just clearing the buffer without clearing the screen as well. We just do the whole thing again in black. Right. And quite easy, it's quite a small program. I want to tell you how I just want to add how to program the Arduino with the serial adapter. I just pushed it into the pins, the holes in the Arduino, and it worked quite well. I didn't need to hardwire it or anything. With connectors, you just push it in the holes. Okay, thank you.